Hello there, welcome to this new video series all about Theme E, GCSE Religious Studies. We're looking at religion, crime and punishment. Today's lesson is a simple one. We're thinking about what is crime and why do people commit crimes. What do you need to know? You need to know that a crime is an offence that is punishable by law. People commit crimes for a whole plethora of different reasons, but for some people, some of those reasons behind the crimes are more understandable than others. Let's jump into today's learning. So what is a crime? I say to my class at school often, there's a few words in this GCSE that are a bit hard to define. I think all of us could probably define crime without an RS textbook. That's right, crime is breaking the law. It's an offence that is punishable by law, which brings us to our other big word of this whole theme this season is punishment. What is punishment? Maybe you have a good idea about that already. When you watch these videos, it's often good to pause them, write down what you think, and then push play. You might want to do that right now for the word punishment. But the word punishment, it can be defined like this: something legally done to somebody as a result of them being found guilty of breaking the law. Really helpful question to think about when we start this topic is, why do we have crimes? Why do we have laws? Why do we have rules? Maybe pause the video here, write down a list of reasons you can think of why we have rules in place. Now, I asked Chatbot about this earlier, came up with some great answers from AI, so thank you so much. But here's some of the things that they came up with: maintaining order, protecting individuals, protecting property, maybe just resolving disputes, promoting justice, promoting the common good, just for a few things there. We have laws in place to make the world better. I don't know if you like to play tennis. If you've ever tried to play tennis without lines on the ground, rubbish, absolute rubbish. You want the lines, you want the rules for things to go well. And that's why we have rules, that's why we have laws. But as we know, because this is this unit, people break laws and people commit crimes. So the big question is why. Now, I would like you to pause the video here to write a list of reasons why you think, or on my map, people break the law. How many can you think of? Push play when you're ready. Okay, well, here's a few that we thought about as a class earlier. Got peer pressure on there, greed, upbringing, etc. Let's take a bit of time now and think through some of these ideas in a bit more detail. So our first one here is upbringing. Very simple idea. If you see your parents commit crimes, then you are more likely to commit those crimes when you are older. If your parents tell you that these things are illegal, but actually they're all right, then you're likely to grow up to be someone who is going to commit the same crimes that your people who you brought up have committed or told you about. Need is another reason for crime, and for some people this is a more understandable reason than some of the other reasons here. You can probably picture someone. Here's a picture of a homeless person right here. You can get this idea that someone might be in need of food, they're hungry, and so they steal and so they can eat. And that's maybe one of the more understandable reasons for crime. Now, greed is on the other end of the spectrum from need, because greed is the idea that you've got enough already, but you want more for you. If you think about the 10 Commandments, do not covet. This is this idea here that you're taking more for yourself, even though you've got enough already. Hate. You might have heard about hate crimes already. Hate crimes are very hard to understand or to even begin to think about justifying, because a hate crime is where you commit a crime against someone based on who they are, where they're from, or what they believe. It's a crime against someone because of their race, their sexuality, their religion, their age. These are hate crimes. What about mental illness? So it could be that someone commits a crime because of their mental illness. Two classic examples might be kleptomania, someone who steals because they have a built-in tendency, something in their mind that makes them want to steal things, gives them that tendency, kleptomania. The other one might be someone who harms people because they've got anger management issues. So that's a mental health issue there, that they can't control their anger and it leads them to be violent. Addiction is another one. Addiction is a reliance normally on something or on a substance in this case. Maybe you would think about someone who's addicted to drugs. Now, if you're addicted to illegal drugs, then the first crime you're probably going to break is buying the illegal drugs, and they're illegal. Or potentially someone who's completely hooked on the drug might, steal in order to pay for the drug that they're desperate to have because they've become reliant on it. Either it's a physical addiction, so if they don't take that drug, then their whole body kind of feels like it's caving in, and they get these withdrawal symptoms that push them to get the drug. Or maybe it's an emotional connection. It's not a physical reliance, it's an emotional one, and they feel they can't continue to live life without that, and so they commit crimes in order to get it. When I originally planned this lesson, I thought about whether or not you could say that some of these crimes are more justifiable than others, but truthfully, you can't justify a crime. That would be impossible. But you might say that some of these reasons for crime are more understandable than others. Maybe have a think of these reasons now. Maybe you would say that you could understand someone who committed a crime because they were in poverty and they were hungry, but you couldn't really understand why someone would commit a crime because of hate. Another helpful thing to do with this list right now, and I encourage you again, pause it, have a go before I tell you, but could you group these? Can you spot connections between any of these reasons for crime? Maybe pause the video and have a go at that right now. Here's a few connections I was thinking about. Maybe you can connect addiction with mental illness, this feeling that you can't help yourself. There's something internally that's spurring you on to commit these crimes. Or maybe you could put together need, upbringing, and peer pressure, these external pressures on you, which are leading you to commit a crime. And possibly we could put hate and greed together as two reasons for crime that we would never say are justifiable or truly understandable. Got some questions here now to check your understanding. So pause the video, have a go at these, and then when you're ready, push play, and we'll look at some of the answers. So let's unpack a few of the answers now. So in your own words, did you define crime and punishment? So maybe you've wrote something like crime is an offense that breaks the law, or crime is breaking the law, and that punishment is the legal consequence of breaking the law. Hopefully you picked a few reasons there and you used that example to phrase how you answer them. So maybe you wrote, some people commit crimes because of greed. This means they've got enough already, but they want more. So potentially they might commit a crime like theft. Now, of all the reasons for crime, which is the least justifiable or least understandable in your opinion? Maybe you went for hate, that it's never okay to harm or hate someone because of who they are, where they come from, or what they're like. And so crimes that are done for that can never be justified. Maybe you talked about greed. Number 4 is, with your knowledge of Christianity, what do you think a response to people who commit crimes because of mental illness would be? Maybe you talked about God's justice and how they should be punished fairly anyway. Or maybe you thought about his mercy, that Christians are commanded to love their neighbor, and maybe it would be more loving to support someone who is committing crimes because of something they can't control. Now we're going to unpick that and the extension in the following videos, but hopefully you had a chance to have a think about what the religious ideas are behind why people commit crimes. We'll put a video on about that in a couple of weeks. Check out for that one. So there you go. What is crime and why do people commit it? Let's revisit our need to know. You need to know that a crime is an offense that is punishable by law, and that people commit crimes for many different reasons. Some people believe that there are some reasons that are more understandable than others. And we're going to look at, in the next video, all about that. We're going to look at why people commit crimes because they view some laws to be unjust. See you there.